Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Emman, your host for the next 2 hours or so, along with Steve.
Everybody.
Sorry, you were muted here. Steve.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. And Nick.
Good morning as well.
And Mike.
What?
Good morning, I said.
What?
And Spence is having time of his life with Time Warner's data.
You mean internet?
It's he says it's up and down ever since Friday, and they're blaming it on their new rolling of the digital adapter stuff. They said that it's people's coax cable at home, now that it's all digital, cannot handle it.
Really?
So that's their this week's excuse, is it?
Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's an excuse because it is the modem that is bouncing up and down. And the modem is connected to their cable, and their cable is new. So I wouldn't think that connecting it to the house will bounce the modem up and down, but who knows? He says that at the most he can leave it up for about 7 minutes, 10 minutes.
Well, how frustrating.
So he was saying that he managed to get staples, and I said, look, don't worry about it, because for all I know, you're not going to be able to even get on the show. So why do all this work and not being able to present it? So we were emailing, and he's writing on his iPhone, and then he called me to let me know about this. So interesting.
Let's hope it's sorted out soon.
But anyway, why am I hearing myself?
I don't know.
Coming back from the...
I'm hearing an echo as well.
Check. No, it's fine now. So what's
I've got
going...
something to start if we want to get into something. So I've said this multiple times on the show. The Verizon Fios has been slowly rolling out I live in a little suburb in the town of Colony called Latham, and it's literally just all subdivisions, and it's been rolling out throughout Latham. Every once in a while, you see the Fios like trailer sitting next to a power line where the fiber runs into, and it's all locked up so that somebody doesn't come and steal it all. And I was like, when are they ever going to get to the other side of this main road that I live on? And it didn't hit me until earlier this week that the reason I will never get, at least sometime soon, I will never get Verizon Fios because there's a bridge over like Route 7 here, and there are no power lines running over that bridge. So the Fios rolls up to that bridge and then just doesn't go any farther. So I will not have Verizon Fios anytime soon.
Nah, not necessarily. I'll bet you it's going across.
It's not. There is nothing going across that bridge.
How long is the bridge?
The bridge isn't long at all, but there's just no power lines connecting. There's no lines, phone, power, anything from one side to the other side. And I didn't
How do you
realize it
know?
until because you can see it.
No, you can't see on bridges. On bridges, they run it underneath the structure.
Yeah, but now because I can see it coming from the other side. Like there's nothing connecting there.
Well, that could be true, but it may not be true because it's like Amnon says. They have what do you call them? Channels.
Yeah, but they didn't. But I saw that they ran it up to the bridge, and then their truck is gone now, so they didn't run it any farther.
Well, all I'm going to tell you is I'm not saying it's not true. All I'm saying is that if you get curious and you go out there and look, you would have to actually climb up under and look under the edge
Yeah.
of the bridge to see if there's a cable transition.
Besides,
Could be
Nick,
some trunking there in the bridge structure.
Because
I just
it makes no sense that they would run up to the bridge
Right.
and stop.
Nick,
mean,
I
because
would
they have that. Yeah,
I would say that it was already there, but it wasn't connected to anywhere on the other side of the bridge where they went to, and they finally came and connected it to the wire that ended up at that point from your side to that side of the bridge.
I'm not sure.
Because they run cables under the bridge even before they know what they're for. I mean, they lay cables from one side of the bridge to the other for any kind of anything that they can think of that they will need in the future. Not specifically Verizon or AT&T or whoever. They just run cable, and then they can use that cable when the need arises. So don't. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's all speculations, but don't feel bad just because of that.
And one thing I've learned is you cannot predict what these clowns are going to do because I felt like because my neighborhood had been bypassed on everything, including high-speed DSL when it was available much faster speeds. It was not available in my neighborhood because of the timing, not the location or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm saying, okay, yeah, I'm probably going to sit here and watch everybody in town get fiber, but me, a week later, they're digging my yard. So you never know what these clowns are going to do.
Are your cables all underground?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, so are ours, and I feel like that's another strike against us because it's
It's
not
not.
that big of a subdivision.
It's not. It's not. That's what I'm telling you, that I'm sitting here saying, right, for me to get fiber out because of the regulations in my town, I'm sitting here thinking that for me to get fiber, they're going to have to dig up the yards. Yeah, like that's going to happen. Next thing I know, they're out digging up the yards. One day they're all the way down my street. So you just never know. And by the way, I have some information. There is a possibility that the fiber in my yard will be lit up by the end of June.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Well, we'll see. The main thing I want to do is get rid of Time Warner Television.
You mean if they don't do it, you're going to do it? You're going to light it up?
That's what I'm going to do.
I saw the comparison of Time Warner's quality and DirecTV's quality the other day, and Time Warner looks like crap compared to everybody else. Just straight up garbage.
Yeah.
And I was blown away. Even local channels look like crap. And I know the local
they
channels come
compress
over
the
in
heck
Canada,
out of them.
but it looked like garbage.
Well,
It literally looked it looked like standard definition compared to what I was watching.
so you mean that they are downgrading the signal?
No, I just what the compression that they're doing makes the video so fuzzy and distorted that it almost it's like looks like looking at standard definition on one and HD on the other. They're both HD, but it's so compressed and distorted it doesn't look like it.
So you're not going to be buying a 4K TV anytime soon.
No, there's no reason to. Unless you're offering to buy one, Steve, then sure.
No, a 4 pence TV possibly, not a 4K.
Ah, okay. All right. Maybe next time.
So what else is going on?
Not much.
Quiet week.
The UK is going mad on blocking websites. We've got 128 on the block list now.
What is that? Tell us about it.
Well, the media corporations or ebook publishers or sports organizations have been going to the High Court in the UK and saying this site's illegal, and you can see that it's illegal. Apparently, they did some research, and one particular site, over 80% was illegal content. So the High Court ruled that the site should be blocked by all the internet service providers, or all the big five, I think they are. So there's 128 sites that are blocked now on suspicion, but that's enough for them to be able to block the site at ISP level, which is shocking.
You're being sarcastic, right?
Well, no, it is shocking. It's terrible. Look at the Sony video case. The court sensibly ruled that there were enough legitimate uses for allowing it to continue, as well as there being illegitimate and illegal uses. What happened to, a bit of common sense? Yes, there's loads of people that use it for illegal activities, but equally, you've got a lot of people that put up their own content. For instance, people that haven't got a record label, they'll put up their own content on a lot of these sites and rely on downloads from their fans in order to make a little bit of revenue from the downloads that they get. All those people now don't have that option. But they aren't even considered. A lot of people are going self-release. I can't think there's a word for it, but they manage themselves and promote themselves and do everything else, and the revenue that they get from these sharing sites is the only revenue they get because they don't have a record label.
Okay, so then they go out of the country to set up a site.
Well, the problem is it's when you're looking at Europe, then they're being blocked not only in the UK, but as soon as they get a win, because the internet service providers aren't opposing them or fighting against it, they'll then get a win in Germany and France and Italy and wherever else. And, there are legitimate reasons for having that site as well as illegal reasons, but you need to weigh up the balance. And, what are you cutting your nose off to spite your face in many aspects.
Well, do you really think they can keep them down? I mean, don't you think that these are stupid temporary moves?
The stupid thing is, because no one's opposing it, the High Court automatically just goes, well, we've done it in the past. Yes, fine, we'll do it. If you're saying that you suspect or you're saying that they're doing it, we'll believe you. Because nobody's saying, hang on a minute, no, we're not. We've got a legitimate percentage of users that use our service and are fighting it. Because it's sort of secretive and nobody wants to actually go to court to oppose these suspicions or these accusations. Nobody should be have to go to court on an accusation. There needs to be proof.
Yep.
But they seem to have got it, just accuse somebody, and the court says, "Yeah, okay, we believe you."
Right. It opens the door. I mean, the door is wide open for abuse.
Yeah, absolutely. And say it's the legitimate users, the people that are trying to.
And it's really, I really do believe that the cause of this is because the quote unquote court is technically
inept.
Yeah, I was going to say technically never mind. I don't want to be too. Yeah.
Well, they
don't understand it. That's all.
They don't understand the way the internet works.
They're illiterate when it comes to it.
Yeah, they're not tech savvy at all. They've got no idea. They just believe hook, line, and sinker, whatever the industry is that tells them, and don't actually look into it themselves. There are some tech savvy judges out there, especially in America, but over here, invariably they always go to the same judge, this Judge Briss. I mean, I don't know him, I've never met him, but he certainly doesn't sound like he knows what he's talking about when it comes to the internet.
What's his
and
name?
specific- Briss, Briss.
You know
But
what that
he's-
means in Hebrew?
No.
Circumcision.
Yeah, that kind of suits him.
It's a family-friendly program we got going on.
Oh boy.
He just takes it as read as whatever is told him. He believes, he doesn't say, well, hang on a minute, I'll do some investigations myself or look into it myself or let me understand this first. He just says, yeah, okay, if that's what you say, we'll believe you. And of course, because they get one after the other saying, yeah, that's okay. All they have to do, if there's any other site that they don't like, basically, that they, in effect, that they want to censor, they've just got to go to the court and say, oh, there's this site too, and it's added to the list.
Mm-hmm.
But you get a VPN and you can get by it. You get a proxy and you can get by it. So it's pointless. It's a useless exercise because it doesn't fix the problem that they say is there.
Right.
I've got a VPN now. I can get to all these sites. It's wonderful.
Allegedly.
No, I've got a VPN and I can get to all these sites and it's wonderful. I don't download anything from them, but it's nice to be able to go, put a finger up to the establishment and say, well, you're spending all this money going to court and it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, I have to use a VPN at school because they just block so many sites. It's not hard. I mean, there's a 1,000 Chrome add-ons that are VPNs and proxies.
Yeah, there's loads of proxies out there for the average user that doesn't know that much and perhaps isn't tech savvy or internet savvy. They probably won't know about it, but it's easy to find. You've just got to search Pirate Bay, for instance, and there's plenty of sites out there that are proxies.
Yeah.
They're playing whack-a-mole and they're failing miserably.
Speaking of proxies, did you guys hear what happened with the Silk Road guy?
Yeah.
So Silk Road, exactly. It's being coined by media as the eBay of drugs. Essentially, it was just part of the dark web where you could just buy drugs and body parts and other weird stuff. And the founder was sentenced to life in prison.
Wow.
Which is, I thought that was a little rough. But
Did you? I see this morning reported on that topic. There was a guy, I think in the Netherlands. I'm not 100% sure where he was, Netherlands or Belgium, that was by far the biggest seller of everything from cocaine to LSD to you name it. One of the biggest sellers. He got prosecuted in court, and all he got was 10 years.
Yeah, well, the minimum the Silk Road founder could have seen was 20, and he got life. So
yeah, well, the minimum that suggested was 40 years for this guy, but he's still only got 10.
It's crazy. A life in prison for starting the website. I mean, that's freaking insane.
Wow.
I want to urge everybody that's listening, and they should also let their friends know, to go to davescomputertips.com, davescomputertips.com, and read about Logjam. Logjam is a new vulnerability. Well, it's not that new, but it's new. And we are all affected by it right now because our browsers. And there are no updates. There's a way and Dave is talking about it, how to fix Firefox temporarily until a fix will come up. But it's something that affects the browsers, and it's not really much the browser's fault. It's the fault of the servers that are using lower bit certificates. And even I'm guilty in that. These days they want you to use. I won't bore you with the details, but they want you to use 2048 bit certificates.
There's a link in the chat for people that are.
Do what?
There's a link in the chat to that particular article if people want to go and read it.
Yeah, good. I mean, it's and there's a link to check your browser. But everybody should do that. At least be aware of what's going on. Nick, you're using Raspberry Pi, right?
Yeah, I am.
Well, Russia-based Eltex announced its Exagear desktop virtual machine last August, enabling Linux, ARM version 7, SBCs, and mini PCs to run x86 software. That meant that users of the quad-core Cortex A7-based Raspberry Pi 2 Model B could use it as well. So you can, I mean, it's a way to run software on a Raspberry Pi. Now I'm not familiar with
x86-based software.
x86. But it's nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of these computers coming out now that are capable of running x86. The only problem is any real software you would run that was x86 is going to be too slow for it anyway.
Well, but I mean, look, back in the day when, what was it, the Amiga was able to run IBM quote unquote software, it was a big deal. It ran real slow, but it was just the fact that you can do it that was a big deal. It was shoot, what do you call it? The word is not here. What?
Emulator.
Emulator. And it's really it's neat that they're doing stuff like that.
Well, I mean, you want to talk about this is a little bit different, but there's a Kickstarter for a project called CHIP. It's CHIP, and it's a computer board it's about half the size of the Raspberry Pi.
Right.
It's got a gigahertz processor, 512 megabytes of RAM, 4 gigabytes of storage, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth, and it's $9.
Oh yeah, the $9 computer.
$9 computer, $9 on Kickstarter for a fully fledged computer.
I see Intel's just about to bring out their stick, computer stick.
Yeah,
thing.
I don't remember what they're calling it.
Not getting very good reviews though.
But they've already got it's called the Nook NUC, and that's like their micro size computer. So now they're trying the stick
size
as
of a
well.
packet of cards, isn't it? But
Yeah.
the stick's only got one USB port. I mean, how ridiculous is that? It's big enough to have 3. It's got 2. It's got a micro for the power, but one USB port. What happens if you want a keyboard and a mouse? You have to get a USB hub.
Exactly. Well, all these, so you have to get. I mean, the Raspberry Pi, I think all of them have 2 ports.
Yeah, 2 would be a minimum, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, my Raspberry Pi is 2 ports, but it's the original one. It wasn't the.
Well, it's doing what it's supposed to do.
The Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, you the way that you're using it is.
Oh yeah. Specifically, its purpose is to run a very minute task, but run it all the time, not use a lot of power, and not use a lot of resources. And that's exactly what it's doing. If I didn't have the Raspberry Pi, I'd have to run a Windows computer 24/7 to do this task. So,
which is a massive overkill.
Exactly. I mean, the room I'm in would be hot. There'd be power consumption would be way more than it needs to be. It's just it would be way overkill, like Steve said. Even like an old Dell Pentium 4 would still be overkill.
Guys, keep going. The phone's ringing.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it. Now the one thing with these little microcomputers or whatever you want to call them, if let's say you don't have an idea in mind what to do for it, buy it, and I guarantee you something will come up. I had mine for 2 years before I found an actual use for it, and I'm really glad that I purchased it.
Well, but you don't need to buy it just to find a use for it, and just keep thinking about it and buy it when you need it.
Yeah, but I guarantee you there's something you could do with it if you got it.
Well, I actually had an idea for one, and I don't know if it could be done. In fact, I've been meaning to ask you about it. But is it possible to set one? No, probably won't work. But set one up such that it is a streaming
Yes, sir.
client to Mixler.
Mixler probably not, but a IceCast or Shoutcast streamer without a doubt. Just all you need is a USB sound card.
Well, the only thing you have to stream to Mixler is their client.
Yeah, but that's an x86 based client. I don't think they have a Linux client.
I think they may. I don't know if they do. They may not.
That's one thing with the Intel one is it's going to be Windows 8 running on it, so you should be able to run anything. 32 gig of ROM on it, I think.
According to Mixler, they don't natively support it, but people have been using Wine, which is an application that lets you run x86 or Windows-based applications, and it should work.
That I need that because we're going to be streaming 24/7 on Mixler.
You're going to use Mixler, not Shoutcast or something?
Well, I mean, we may use that too, but the problem that I found out some things about Mixler. I thought they were streaming at 128K, but that's not really true. They're actually using HEAAC plus, which is better. And the free accounts are the regular accounts are at 40K, and the paid account is at 60K, which is at least equivalent to 128K MP3.
And are you allowed to stream 24/7?
If you pay for it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which we are. I mean, find me a streaming service that's 24/7 unlimited listeners for $20 a month.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably doesn't. Well, I mean, it does exist, but
You would find another one, would you?
Well, there's some inexpensive ones out there. I mean, I'm looking, for example, the one that Hollywood uses. As far as I know, as I was looking at it, where'd it go? Here it is.
they're not the cheapest though. They're
Well, but it's IceCast hosting for 100 listeners is at 128K is $10 a month.
yeah. I mean, the reason, and Mike, maybe this has changed, but the big problem with Mixler is playing it on a mobile device.
No,
Half the time it works, half the time it doesn't.
that hadn't been my experience.
Unless they fixed it from the last time I used it, that was the problem.
They change it all the time.
If unlimited is actually that unlimited and no sort of hidden restrictions for $20 a month, that's a brilliant price.
Yeah, I don't know. The Shoutcast and IceCast tend to integrate well into other things, but that's just a general broad statement. It doesn't necessarily mean that.
I wonder what
Let's see, I'm
happened to
gonna go-
Mike.
He did a refresh.
Just dropped out momentarily by the looks of it.
There
We're
he
just
is.
gonna go to Mixler's website and see if anything will.
He's
play.
back.
Let's see.
Yeah, don't know what it is. I mean, I'm only on an i7 with 16 gig of memory. I don't know why it shouldn't work well for the Hangout.
There's your problem then.
No, it's not that it's not working well for the Hangouts. That your speakers are too loud.
I've got them lowest I've ever had them.
Huh.
I've had them twice this loud normally.
Oh, it's just the Hangout with its auto cancellation.
Is that set? Can you turn it on or off?
No, it just randomly works. Sometimes it doesn't randomly work. Other times it's fine right
Still
now.
getting an echo?
No, it's fine right now. This is just a problem.
Yeah, I hate Hangouts.
My Pentium
Mike?
4 processor is going mental at the moment. It's about 99%.
Uh-oh.
It's coping. Just.
Mike,
Yes, Amnon.
ready to rant?
Oh, I don't know. I'm kind of out of the rant mood. Go ahead.
Can we all
The
have a rant,
FC
please?
What, Steve?
Can we all have a rant, please, one after the other?
Listen to this. The FCC Lifeline program subsidizes phone service for very poor Americans. It gained notoriety under the label Obama phone, even though the program started under Reagan and was extended to cell phones under Clinton. Now, the FCC is proposing that the program, which is funded by a fee on telecom providers, be extended to broadband on the logic that high-speed internet is as necessary today as telephone service was a generation ago. So, guess who's going to get fiber, Google Fiber first?
Tell us.
People on welfare, probably.
Nah. I mean, the program, look, you got to have a method of communications. You got to be able to call 911. I don't know of a person who objects to helping people who really need it.
Absolutely not.
We get tattooed with things that are not accurate. The problem we complain about is the abuse of the system. And the problem is that the abuse outweighs the legitimate need.
But the thing I don't understand about broadband is there's free broadband available.
Right.
All over the place. At your public library, it offers you free internet. I mean, this is not, the phone, that's different.
No, it has to be done in the privacy of their home.
You made the grave mistake of assuming that what you hear is legitimate.
What do you mean?
You're assuming that whenever the government wants to provide free internet to people, that it's because they need internet. It's not. It's because they want them to be beholden to the government, so that when it's time to vote, they'll vote for the people who give them the free stuff. It has absolutely nothing to do with taking care of the little guy. Well, enough of that.
Well, but point beside, let's say that that's the reason. Let's say that's a legitimate reason. May or may it not be. It still is an invalid argument. Free internet is available places. Go into your McDonald's. There's free internet there. Go into your Starbucks. There's free internet there. It's a bullshit point.
That's exactly right. So what happens is that you're saying that it doesn't make any sense to what they're doing. And I'm telling you that it doesn't make sense because you're looking at it the wrong way.
That's insane.
Well,
there was a battle. We lost.
It's just interesting.
It's crazy. Well, it's the hot faster internet than I do.
It's the same thing like when you go to some place and you see the handicap parking spots. There is no one who has a brain, a heart, or a soul who would object to providing priority parking for people who truly have mobility issues.
Right.
No one ever would complain about that. But when you see people drive up and they've got their grandmother's handicap tag hanging in there and they jump out of the car and run into the store and come running back out with both arms full of groceries, that's pure abuse. And
yep.
It's the kind of thing that you can theorize will happen, but until you've ever seen it, it's a real problem. I was at a Food Lion one time and I was parked very close to the handicap spots. And as I was sitting, I just sat there a minute because some people had driven in and driven off, and I just sat there for a minute watching. Every single handicap spot was full, and sure enough, here comes a van with a handicap tag, and the person in the van has no place to park. The van usually means wheelchair, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and then I sat there until the next person walked out, and sure enough, she walks out and puts her 300-pound butt in that seat and drives off.
Well, I don't want to get into that.
But then if you try to do something about it, you hate the poor, you're selfish, you're mean, so nothing happens. How do they deal with that in the UK, Steve? That's a real curious thing to me, because I guess maybe it's the same way, but here in the United States, if you have a medical need that's spelled out by statute, you can get a parking decal or you can get a plate or a hanger to go on your windshield that allows you to park in designated spaces. Is it the same there?
Yes, it is. Most supermarkets and in some streets in the town, you'll have disabled parking where no park from disabled people, and they need to display a disabled badge on the top of the dashboard. And normally it's got a little clock on it, so you turn the clock to the time that you've arrived. And they're only given out to people through the National Health Service if they are indeed disabled. But quite often you'll find vans parked there or trucks parked there because they're working in the near vicinity, but they aren't disabled. And I mean, yes, they need to get access because perhaps they're carrying machinery in or tools or whatever, but I don't agree that they should remain parked there taking up a disabled parking spot.
I don't know if you saw this, Amnon, but downtown Raleigh, it's something like a 1 hour, 2 hour parking, and you have to keep feeding the meters or something. I forget what the details are, but the average people can't park down there long term. And there is a Raleigh ordinance that says that a person with a handicap tag can park in a metered spot all day long and not even have to pay a parking amount.
Why is that?
That's an accommodation for the people who are disabled. So if I park there for over an hour or 2 hours, whatever it is, and don't feed the meter, I get a $20, $30 ticket. If I park there with a handicap tag, I can park there all day long. So guess what? Everyone who works downtown, not everyone, a lot of people who work downtown have handicap tags. Our local TV station did I started to say news outlet, TV station went down there to interview people who were getting out of their cars with handicap tags who looked healthy. And these morons would say, well, what's your nature of your disability that you have this handicap tag? Oh, well, it's not mine. It's my grandmother's, but she lets me use it.
Valid. Very valid point.
Right. And what do you think the state or the city has done about it?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Same what they do here. But what you say, I witness quite a lot as well when I go shopping. There's a huge area that they've marked off specifically for parking for disabled people. And the amount of shoppers that come out of there with no visible ailments, walking stick or frame or wheelchair or anything, that walk into that disabled zone is frightening. It really is. And like you say, they're taking up a spot which could actually be used by somebody that needs it. But nothing's done about it. The store doesn't do anything. It just ignores it. Of course, we're all polite and British, so we don't say anything, or very few people do say anything.
I was
bitterly, but no one says anything.
I was just thinking about what a great way for somebody to make a living. Go and stand at a block where there are a bunch of meters, and when people park, you just tell them, that for $5 an hour, you'll go and you'll feed their meter every hour, and those that need it, you just, it's worth $5 instead of jumping up and down and all that. And
I think you need to get a new career.
Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Screw my college education. Let's just go down to Raleigh.
Yeah. No. Go to college. Please go to college.
No, not at all. Never. Well, I've got this. I'm going to be the next Bill Gates with my idea.
There are actually some homeless people who do that.
Yeah, I mean, so they do.
Okay.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, they're regulars down there. They know the parkers, and they have them do that. Some things changed down there. My information is kind of dated. Some things changed because at one point it seems to me like they eliminated the parking meters and went to limited time or something. I don't know. Then you remember the way they would mark when a car was there is they would have a chalk that they would rub on the tire.
Yeah.
And people figured that out, and they would go out and start rubbing the chalk off the tire, or they would pull the car up 6 inches so that the mark is in a different spot. And I suspect now it's all done electronically, that they would probably take a picture of your tag based on the spot that it's in or something.
That's what majority of the parking is here, is that you can park for, say, 30 minutes at the meter, but you're not allowed, you've got to then go and you can't come back for an hour. So it limits you from parking there all day and just keep feeding the meter.
I think it depends on where you live, because I mean, even in Albany, the city, I'm outside the city, there's a whole lot of just free public parking that isn't metered. There's just a lot of free public parking. which is interesting.
Yeah, but it's always taken by people who use it all day long,
Yeah, exactly.
and the shoppers that try to go and frequent these establishments don't have a place to park. That's the problem.
I did. I mean, I had to do some. I went to the lake 2 weekends ago, and there was some metered parking there. And I actually forgot to fill up my meter, and that was good though.
No. All right, let's change. Listen to this. An editorial at the Washington Post argues that Microsoft PowerPoint is being relied upon by too many to do too much, and we should start working to get rid of it. Its slides are oversimplified, and bullet points omit the complexity of nearly any issue. The slides are designed to skip the learning process, which, when works, involves dialogue, eye-to-eye contact, and discussions. Of course, PowerPoint has merits. It can help businesses with their sales pitches or let teachers introduce technology into the classroom. But instead of being used as a means for a dynamic engagement, it has become a poor substitute for longer, well-thought-out briefings and technical reports. It has become a crutch. Anytime you hear about a presentation these days, right away, the thing that comes to mind is PowerPoint.
It's a tool, though, isn't it?
I think
it's a presentation tool that is just one part of the presentation.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And if the presentations you're seeing are just straight regurgitations of bullet points on a PowerPoint, it's a crappy speaker. I mean, the
Exactly.
PowerPoint is supposed to be the visual aid to somebody talking. I don't think it's supposed to be the. I guess it depends what you're watching. But
it's
if that's what
supposed.
you're-
It's not supposed to be the presentation.
Exactly. It's just supposed to be. It's 4 bullet points, and then the guy or gal talks about the 4 bullet points, but it's not reading the bullet points saying, "Oh, this is bullet point 1, 2, 3, 4." All right, next slide. It's elaborating
Right.
on all of them, but it's just your visual aid. I disagree 100% with that.
It's
Right.
not the entire presentation. It's just one part, one segment of it.
Right.
Exactly.
So I wonder who wrote it.
Where did you say it was written?
No, this came from Slashdot, but it doesn't say who.
Oh.
It was written in the Washington Post.
Oh, well, that's why.
Yeah. So Comcast Time Warner fell apart, but now there's a Charter Time Warner. What are you guys thinking about it?
Well, who knows? The proof
got-
is in the pudding.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the Charter CEO said he said, doesn't mean he will. He said the higher speeds at lower prices was his quote, I believe.
Right.
So just be aware. That's what he said. I mean, I don't know how the prices could get any higher and the service could get any crappier. It's pretty crappy as it
Yeah.
sits. But Charter's a small company. That's what's interesting. Or at least I thought they were.
They're small, but they are covering all over.
Yeah, that was interesting.
What I'm trying to understand is why Time Warner wants to sell out.
Well, who owns Time Warner?
I don't remember. Changes. I mean, they're a publicly traded company, right?
Yeah.
But isn't there? I thought somebody else owned Time Warner.
The thing is that why would they want to stay in the business when they're getting worse and worse and worse reputation?
Oh, maybe that's part of it as well. I mean, here's the thing: they know they need to update their stuff,
Right.
and they're just going to cash out and not have to worry about it. Let somebody else deal with it.
Yep. Before the fiber hits the fan, they need to be out.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what they're trying to do.
Yep.
I know. I'm not convinced they give a rat's behind about their customers. They
Who?
just that's
Time
not
Warner?
even Time Warner. That's
Oh,
not
exactly.
even on It's not
Yeah,
even
but
on
the
the
thing,
agenda.
but the thing is, there, and I'm hearing echo again. You
Yeah,
guys
well,
hear
maybe
it?
I had to just log out.
Um, the thing is that when fiber uh, rolls out everywhere, their stock prices is gonna go down because they're gonna lose customers. So they'd rather get out of it as soon as they can and still get good money for it. Um, question is, why would Comcast want to buy them? But that's to become a monopoly. Charter is a whole different story. Why would they want it?
I wonder if this was more of Time Warner being like, "Hey, who wants us?"
I don't know, but it's an interesting turn of events.
I'm looking at a map right now, and Charter's a lot more places than I thought it was.
Yeah, they're smaller, but they
They cover a lot of places, though. I thought,
Yeah.
I mean, when I thought of Charter, I thought of like Bright House, which is like a very, very small ISP. That's what I thought. I didn't realize Charter was.
and that's part of the deal. Bright House.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I didn't honestly. Look here. I'm gonna throw this map in here. I didn't realize that that Charter was as.
Yeah, Brent is saying TWC revenue is 22 billion in 2013. Why would Charter pay 56 billion?
Well, because now they're gonna. Oh, I mean, just looking at this map, Charter and Taiwan are almost, they give or take. It looks like they control almost the same amount of area. I mean, now that's a good chunk of the
Mm-hmm.
internet.
Yep.
So, I mean, them combined is probably similar size to Comcast, I would think. I mean, I'm just making this stuff up, but just by looking at this map, it's probably similar to Comcast. We'll have to see.
I mean, if it's gonna make things better for people, then that's good. But
Yeah, who knows?
unfortunately, you're gonna have to see it before you know
Yeah, well, I don't even know what Charter's. I should take a look at this.
what their
What-
charter is.
And what their plans are. Charter Spectrum. Oh boy, 20 times faster than DSL. Oh boy.
Yeah,
They
they don't have real fast speed in our area anyway.
Oh, they don't even have it here. I'm trying to figure out what speeds they offer. Doesn't even tell me. Oh, this is going to be fun. What if I want to purchase it? I wonder if it'll let me.
So what do you see?
Oh, so, whoa, speeds starting at 60 megabits. Okay.
Starting?
Charter Spectrum Internet, speed starting at 60 megabits, bandwidth for even more devices. That doesn't mean anything. Free internet modem and no data caps for 20 bucks a month.
Come on.
No, this is their website. I'm just looking at their
That's very interesting.
upload speeds up to 4 megabits though.
Well, that's fine. I mean, most people
No,
really
it's
don't
not.
need.
I'm at 5 right now. That is not fine.
I know that's different. Most people don't need it. Most people care about the down speed.
They don't even doesn't even look like they have higher up plans. Yeah,
So who's got an iPhone?
I do.
Can I send you a text message?
I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about. Why did it happen to you?
Yeah, of course it happened.
So people are actually doing this?
Yeah, because it's funny. Yeah, I'm in, I'm in a few classes, and we trade resources back and forth, let's just say.
Yeah.
And there's like 15 or 20 people in one of the text message threads. And one person throws it in there, and everybody's phones are restarting in the middle of class, and it's like, what the hell? Yeah.
So how long has this been going on?
A week, maybe. It was originally posted on Reddit.
And Apple did not do anything about it in a week?
Now, they said
Wow.
turn off home screen notifications or something stupid that I wasn't even going to bother looking at.
Stupid because it's a simple solution,
No,
or because it doesn't work?
Stupid because then I won't see my text messages on my home screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like stupid as in useless.
Well, for the benefit of those that have iPhones, and a lot of people wouldn't know about it, but there's a news that a bug in iOS has made it so anyone can crash an iPhone by simply sending a text message containing special characters. When the text message is displayed by a banner alert or notification on the lock screen, the system attempts to abbreviate the text with an ellipsis. What's an ellipsis?
I have no clue.
Mark is not here. Steve, do you have an idea?
It's a bracket, isn't it?
I don't know.
Forward or back, forward or end bracket.
Oh, open and close the
Yeah.
regular brackets.
Mhm.
If the ellipsis is placed in the middle of a set of non-Latin script characters, including Arabic, Marathi, and Chinese, it causes the system to crash. So if your phone is crashing and
It's not even
rebooting,
crashing, it's just a reboot. Yeah.
yeah, if it reboots, chances are that this is what's doing it.
Yeah. Well, you'll see it. It comes as a text message.
But what if you don't see the text message?
You will see the text message.
So until you do something, that's when it...
You like unlock your phone, and that's what happens.
No, okay. Your phone is in your pocket,
Yes.
and you receive one of these texts. You do not take it out. You heard the tone, but you're not taking it out. What happens at that point?
I'm not sure. The time it happened, the times it's happened to me, I was on my phone, so I'm not sure what happens, to be perfectly honest with you.
Okay.
I can send it to Mike right now and see what happens.
I don't know what to send,
I could send it to Mike if he's interested.
and I don't want to talk about what to send because we're not trying to promote this.
Hey, Mike, you want to do a test for the show?
But
Test of what? I had to step away.
I can send a text message to your phone, and it should reboot it.
What to an iPhone?
Yeah. You want to try it?
I don't care.
All right, let's do it. So keep your phone locked. Like, and
Well, wait a minute.
let me get the text.
Okay, it's locked.
All right, hold on. I gotta find it again. This should do it. Mike Phillips. That may do it, that may not.
How will I know?
Your phone should just restart.
It is.
It is restarting? So even with it at the lock screen, it does it?
Yep.
Interesting.
Well, no, wait a minute. I thought it was rebooting, but what it did was the Apple popped up on the screen and then it showed the unlocked screen.
Yeah, that's a reboot. That's what happened.
That's really a quick reboot.
It's like a crash almost, yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's not a good thing.
Mike,
Yeah.
do you see something different than what it was before Nick sent?
No, it doesn't do anything different. It just literally
I understand.
crashes and reboots your
I
phone.
understand, but I mean, if it's locked and in your pocket, it can reboot 20 times and you'll never know that it did.
Yeah, that's essentially what happens. Yeah,
Okay.
somebody will send it to you like 20 times, and your phone will just get caught in a reboot loop, essentially.
M9 does not have an iPhone.
No, I
Yeah,
don't.
iPhone.
So
So
anyway, I mean, why would Apple give someone that capability?
Well, that's
It's
the
a
interesting
bug.
thing. It's an unencoded. It's like an unencoded thing, but I have no clue. Can you use your phone now? Is everything working?
I don't know. I hadn't tried it.
What if you unlock it? I wonder if it'll reboot again.
Yeah, you sent me
Yep.
effective power and hieroglyphics.
That'll do it. You can, and if you should just delete that thread or whatever.
Yeah, Mike, we don't want to know what he sent. Don't talk about it.
The way Amnon, you already talked about it, so I
No,
mean, if you
no,
don't wanna talk-
but I mean, you have to know what you're sending.
okay.
So when is Apple going to fix this vulnerability?
They just said turn it off. They said turn off your lock screen notifications.
Oh, that's the fix. That's like
That's-
going to the doctor. It hurts when I raise my arm. Well, don't raise your arm.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes, what they just said.
Oh, okay. Way to go, Apple.
It's like saying we've made this feature available on the home screen for you, but don't use it.
Yes, you can make it so that it'll just say iMessage on the home screen, and it won't actually show the text message. It'll just say
Very useful.
new iMessage. So they said turn that on so that
Yeah, and
Useless.
and I think I read somewhere that it's only in the notification. Is if you go to the actual text, it doesn't happen.
Exactly.
You can
It's a
read it
notification.
fine.
you got it.
I'm still trying to understand why I want someone else to be able to reboot my phone.
You don't.
It's a feature, Mike. It's a feature. Come on.
I'm trying to understand when I would need that. Like if I'm on hold for 2.5 hours to get on a radio show and
Yep.
somebody sends a reboot.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
Who knows?
Yeah, Alan says it's a feature.
Yeah, you're holding it wrong.
Oh, okay. I see what Tim's story is. Tim was asking me if I'm green or blue. Now I understand what it is. No,
You're
I don't
green.
have one.
Is that like boxers or briefs?
All right.
So Amnon,
Yes, sir.
did you hear about Leo Laporte last week?
Who didn't hear about Leo Laporte last week?
Well, you haven't been around. I don't know what you've heard.
Oh, I heard. I was there not when it happened, but the next day when he was talking about it. I was watching him. Yeah, I mean, come on. This happens, and I mean, for those of you that don't know, Leo was showing how to share or how to manipulate pictures on the what was it? A new iOS? And I keep hearing myself coming back from somebody. And when he was sharing his screen, you know, like when you go to your My Pictures screen and you have it on to show thumbnails, one of the pictures in the middle of the screen somewhere was a picture of a penis. So they start saying, "Oh, he's showing his penis." Come on, I mean, you don't even know what it is, and he could have a picture there. Of course, I'm not condoning it, but it's not such a big deal.
But well, it wasn't a big deal. But here's the question: if it wasn't his, whose picture does he have on his computer?
I don't know. It may have got downloaded with something. Who knows? I mean, obviously, there was something that made a lot more sense when somebody was saying that Leo is complaining that every time he goes online, different places, he sees ads for extramarital affairs and porn and stuff like that. And the guy said, aren't these things targeted at somebody who's doing that a lot? And it's true. I mean, if you go and you visit a lot of porn sites, then you're going to get ads about porn sites. If you notice, if you go and search for something, and I see that a lot because I'm looking on things on Home Depot and Lowe's, and you go to Facebook, suddenly the same thing that you were looking at is suddenly over there on the right. And I said, what the hell? And then you say, oh yeah, the cookies. And they know what you are searching for and what you are doing online, and they send something that has to do with that. So that, to me, that means more that Leo is doing something. I mean, it may be right for him. But then the picture, but the thing that why we talked about it again a lot in the podcasting community is the fact that at that point he decided that there is not going to be any more live shows on Twit, and that he was going to kill the chat rooms because there were too many trolls and too many people disrupting and all that. No live shows and no chat room would kill Twit. So a day or two afterwards, he went back and said, no, that's not what we meant. We're still going to have live shows, and the chat room is still going to be. I think what they're going to do, they're going to make money from the chat room, because they're going to say, okay, you want to be in the chat? It's going to cost you that much. We'll see, but the whole thing is really, I think, was blown out of proportion. Of course, if you follow and watch some of these videos of what, I mean, he did something before too, when he shared text messages by mistake with the audience, and it was between him and his, I don't know, is he married to Lisa or is it just his girlfriend? I have no idea. But there were some explicit messages there. I mean, porn between the two of them. And he, of course, he was talking about something else on that screen, but people's eyes move around and they saw these, and it made a big splash and created a problem. So obviously there's a what do you call it? A precedence there for things like that with them. So who knows?
The reason, Amnon, that people are going after Leo over this is
I
because
know.
of karma.
Well,
you know what? I hadn't finished making my comment.
Okay.
That is karma. These guys, based on what we've been able to tell, and I haven't watched his show, watched it in probably 3 years, because what happens is that if you go into his chat room, he's got some really power hungry moderators in there who treat his quote unquote customers like dirt.
Right.
And they have turned off so many people in chat, including me, that that it's just not worth. You don't go there for fun and entertainment. You go there for fun and entertainment, not to be attacked by their little minions. And what happened to me about 3 years ago is I was in chat and I was listening to it some Sunday afternoon after the show. I had it playing here, and I was pretty interested in the topic. And Leo said something, and my comment in the chat room was something about could not agree more. I mean, it was just pure roses and honey. And the moderator came on to me and said, okay, that's enough of that. And I answered back and I said, excuse me, what did I say? And he said, another comment and you're out of here.
Yeah.
And my comment was, no, I'm out of here now. Boom. Haven't been back.
Yeah.
I mean, these people are crazy.
Yeah. On that note, I do have to get out of here.
All right, Nick.
Yeah, it's true. I don't want to. I'll be in chat. Don't worry.
No, you go and do your thing, and that's a lot
Where are you
more
going?
important.
I have a charity event to attend. I'm a very generous person, as you're aware.
Yeah, right.
No, I do actually have to go to it. It's a gaming charity.
Okay.
I swear
Have
to God.
fun.
You don't believe me.
It's
my Extra Life charity. There's a meeting.
All right. No, I'm aware of it. Have fun.
Good
All right.
for you, Nick. Have a good one.
And if you haven't heard, check out my podcast, infectionpodcast.com.
Yes. Tuesday evening, 7 o'clock.
Tuesdays at 7. Yep.
Twitch.tv/infection podcast.
Yep, that's where you can get it.
Yep.
You get infected if you go there?
No.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, there may be a virus on the page. It's possible.
All right, that's not good.
Alrighty,
Have
have a good
fun,
week,
Nick.
guys. Talk to you later.
Have a-
All right, Nick. Take care. Yeah, it's a great podcast, and it's growing. I mean, the audience is growing every week. It's more and more and more. So it's very nice. So if you're into gaming, the game is nice. It's not just a shoot 'em game. It's one that involves thinking and running. Yeah, Mike mentioned it. It said go to Total Drama and you can read all about Leo. And yeah, Alan is saying keep your cookies clean. This is why I once a day I use sea cleaner to clean.
So
Mike,
what is
is
it
the
that you're
is the
hiding?
echo coming from you, Mike?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Just clean your cookies, and your experience on the web is going to be much better. I mean, look, I spent 2 hours on Home Depot looking for sheds, and I don't want to see any more of it later on that evening or the next day when I go to check on the Facebook page. You know, it's kind of cheesy. I'm done with that. So yeah, clean your cookies.
You know, I might have just figured out what's wrong with this Echo thing.
Okay.
I'm using the 64-bit version of Chrome,
Right.
which does not work with what is it? It does not work with Gmail chat.
I use it.
Well, then after the show, we'll do a test, because if I try to go into Gmail, I mean, if I try to do Google Voice, it will not work with Google Voice, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I don't.
64-bit version is not compatible with Google Voice because the plugin is not 64-bit compatible.
Okay. And after all this time, it's still not compatible?
Well, I mean, they change things all the time. Yeah, but that, as far as it not being compatible, well, let me look and see it. It was not compatible a month ago when I checked it. In fact, it was a week ago when I checked it. But if I went and they probably are the same technology. All
I know,
right,
that's
so
what
if
I'm
I
saying,
go
and it's
to-
both their products. That's kind of amazing that they would not work with each other.
Start a video call. If I start the video call, let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm already in one. It won't let me do it. But if I try to make or receive calls in the browser, enable Hangouts. All right, I've done that before. Hangouts in Gmail. Open Hangouts in Gmail. At the top of the Google chat list, click your profile photo. Click try the new Hangouts. See, there's something new. Gmail will refresh and you can start using the Hangouts. So let's see. Maybe they've changed this. Maybe they have fixed something. Where
Well,
the heck is it?
you can start a Hangout. I mean, I do it all the time. But you're
I'm
talking
using
about Google
Hangout
Voice.
now. That's not what I'm talking about. All right, open Hangouts in Gmail. At the top of your Google chat list, click your profile photo. All right, that's the same thing as before. Top of your chats list, Google profile. I don't have a photo at the top of my Google chats list. Yes, I do. That's a lie. Try the new Hangouts. There we go. So I need to turn this one off. Let me go back into here. Try. The reason is because I don't have a photo. Try the new Hangouts. And it will refresh, and it says that I can now do it. All right, so now we will. Where's telephone? Telephone. All right, I'm going to restart to see if it makes any difference.
Well, go for it.
Oh,
All right.
dokie.
Okie dokie.
They do update pretty regular, but very often they don't publicize the fact they've done it.
So earlier, Nick brought up that email that was sent out to a few of us on the show
Hmm. Oh, yeah, right.
from Leo. It says, "Hello, Computers 2K Now pundits. Long-time listener since Computers 96, but never a caller due to attending church every Sunday morning. Not sure what excuse was back when the show was on Saturday morning." He says, "Since I can't call the show, but do listen later in the week to the audio podcast, I thought I would email the following questions." So he says, questions for Amnon. As an ISP, are there any rules on how long you have to keep customer activity log information? How long do you keep this information? Any reason why it couldn't be kept shorter than you currently keep it? Well, first of all, this is for ISPs like Time Warner or Comcast, where people actually connecting. The only type of connectivity that we provide is dial-up at this point, and it's dwindling. You don't have to keep, I mean, as far as what to do with that is you should keep it for about 6 months, anywhere from 6 to 18. I don't think there's a law about it, but they do. The rest of the activity, quote unquote, email and all that, is worthless to keep because a lot of the customers are actually sending out email through their own ISPs. Like if somebody is has Uverse, but Delta Force does their email and their website and so forth. They receive email from Delta Force, but they send the email through their Uverse account. The logs on Delta Force have no record of them sending email. Of course, some of them do utilize our own outgoing. As far as receiving mail, the only way that you can actually keep records of that, since the backup is done once a night, is having something recording it continuously, which I'm not familiar that it even exists. And since I don't have to do it, I'm not wasting my time on it. We do have records going back for months on hard drives, but not everything is on it. And the other thing that he's asking me is, any chance you can post more of your 850 The Buzz shows onto your website or to archive.org? Great way to preserve computer history. No. It's a lot of work, and I don't think that anybody would be interested in that. There's nothing that I would want to do with that. Then he's asking Mike, but Mike is not here. And shoot, Nick is not here either. But I think the main thing here was comments for Spence. And I mean, I would go as far as saying that this is a stupid message. I don't think it meant for anything other than to put Spence in a bad light, and it's not going to work. This guy didn't do his homework. It says, Spence, you have mentioned several times that you thought you starting being on the radio show with Amnon back in the 90s. But from my own personal memory, plus going through the shows Amnon has on his site from the 90s, you are not on any of them or mentioned as being a host on shows that actually had an announcer giving introduction. The last show of the 20th century, blah, blah, blah. Well, you didn't do your homework, because if you look at the messages, at the posts there in the archive, you will see that Spence was on the show on February 1998 with Steve. That's how we started. And he was on quite a few of them since. They're not posted because there was nothing really interesting. Back then, what I was doing is I would only post shows that had something that we wanted to show people. Okay, yeah, here. Not every show, like as of late, that is there on demand. But if you go back, you'll see that that Spence was on the show on February 1998. Mike was actually on the show, I think, in 2007, as the first time. I don't remember when Nick was there first, but Nick is in the last few years. So do your homework first. I really think that... and so he's adding, he says, Spencer, I only bring this up for historical accuracy and give Amnon another reason to post his old computer 93 through 99. No, I'm not going to do that. And
I was on way before 2007, Amnon.
Well, that is posted. I'm talking about what's posted. If you go and search, you'll see that the first one posted is from 2007, October or something like that. And I'm sure that you weren't there before, because you were there when I started doing stuff with Nabil, because Nabil introduced us.
Well,
And
I was there
it
whenever
was-
you and Ken George would get together, because the first time
Yeah.
I ever was on the show is when Ken couldn't make it, and he asked me to go
Yeah.
sit in.
Yeah. So it's much farther back than that. But what I'm saying is that person did not do his homework, because he would find out that Spence was there. The show that is posted was from 1998, February of 1998. So, I'm not going to post anymore. Another reason I'm writing you is today because since last November, when I rediscovered your show after it left the buzz, I have listened to the past 2 years worth of shows. Get a life. Back to June, and I have been working on writing a summary of my experience. It contained my observation on what has been both good and bad about the show. Now it has changed how it changed during the last 2 years, along with a few statistics you might be interesting. You might find interesting. So anyway, he was.
I don't care
I think he was trying to sound like you, because at the end he says, "Get a Mac," which
Yeah.
is
I mean,
which is
Look,
uh,
this. My suggestion was that we even ignore the email.
no.
I'm not
I
big
mean,
on
there
anonymous.
were good questions here, though, as far
Well,
as records and the thing is about the ISP, how long you keep the records, and if Nick would have done. I mean, as far as microphone handling and stuff, we talked about it so much that if you really listen to the shows, like you're saying, you would know by now all the tricks and tips that Mike has for handling and preserving and storing microphones. But I don't know if Nick would have done anything different in
That
hindsight.
was a trumped up. That was just a trumped up.
Yeah, I
question.
know. Oh, I know. I mean, I really think that person must have been drunk or on drugs or something,
No.
and
No.
wanted to say something. Otherwise, you say something when you discover, hey, and the name of the person. And I love that page of his on the IIB. I really thought it was Andrew, but I don't think Andrew can write what is written on that person's page on the IIB. It's written very eloquently, even though it's all junk, but it's written in a nice way. I mean, it takes somebody who writes. I mean, if I had to guess, I would say it's you, Mike, because you know
Yes,
you know how to write, and it's really written nice. It's
You
written.
know how it's not me? You know how you can know it's not me?
I don't care.
Well, I'm gonna tell
I
you
don't
anyway.
think it's you, but
It's not, because it's talking about Leo, and I'm out of
Yeah.
touch with Leo.
yeah. I mean, I'm going to. Hopefully, I'm going to find out where it was posted from.
Well, here's the
but
point.
I'm just interested. It's just interesting, you know.
Here's the point. My suggestion was to ignore it, because
Yeah.
you know what? If you want to write and you want credibility, then don't be anonymous. Call Amnon and get the inside scoop and write something that makes sense. But the other
Gary
the
is
other
saying,
side of that
yeah,
is that whoever wrote it, we probably know who it is. I mean, I don't mean know who it is. We probably know the person who wrote it.
probably.
Whoever it is has regularly listened to the show, has paid attention to what has been said, is certainly aware of the IAIB, is certainly aware of Leo. So
Yeah.
it's probably someone we know, and somebody having fun at 12 o'clock on a Saturday night. That's fine. But beyond this point, if whoever you are, if you want,
And I think he knows you even better, because I didn't even know that email address of yours of podcasting at MikePhillips.me. I don't think that was ever mentioned.
yeah,
And that's
mentioned,
interesting. So he
I think
must
it's on the IAIB. I don't recall where it is.
now by the same token, I mean, Amnon Webb at DeltaForce.net is not something that I publicized. So anyway, it's
But I didn't know that one.
it's just it's funny. It's kind of stupid, but it's funny. And Gary's saying, was it Hardy? No, I don't think Hardy would have the time to sit down and write such a long message.
And he wouldn't ask about microphones either.
No.
So,
Oh,
no, I mean,
Gene is
it's
saying
not a bad thing.
what?
It's not. I'm Gene saying ignore him.
Yeah,
But
no, it's
no-
not a bad
no offense
thing.
taken.
No. It's not a bad thing at all. I mean, it's just something that somebody wrote.
Whoever it is a loyal listener. That's a good
Yeah.
thing.
That's a good thing. Absolutely.
Anyway, enough of that.
So, what else is going on? So, is it working now?
I don't know. You tell me. You hearing an echo?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Well, so far so good.
Yeah, but that could have happened if you just signed out and back in.
I tried that
the
already
same
though,
way.
and it still did it.
All right.
No echo at the moment for me.
Well, we'll keep listening and see. Because it very well could have been that I had an outdated plug-in.
Okay. Well,
Time will tell.
okay. So here is something that they're talking about on Slashdot that I never really came across. He says,
That's the purpose of Slashdot.
a
up
few weeks ago, we discussed reports that enterprise SSDs would lose data in a surprisingly short amount of time if left powered off. The reports were based on a presentation from, okay, I hear echo. Presentation from Alvin Cox, a Seagate engineer, about enterprise storage practices. PC World spoke to him and another engineer for Seagate, and they say the whole thing was blown out of proportion. He said, I wouldn't worry about losing data. This all pertains to end of life. As a consumer, an SSD product or even a flash product is never going to get to the point where it's temperature dependent on retaining the data. The intent of the original presentation was to set expectations for a worst case scenario. A data center writing huge amount of data to old SSDs and then storing them long terms at unusual temperatures. It's not a very realistic situation for businesses with responsible IT departments, and almost impossible for personal drives. So if it's in a data center and it's being written to all the time, and you know how SSDs work, it's you can only write so much, and then it's stored in unusual temperatures, whether I guess cold or hot, too hot or too cold, then it can happen. But this, like they say, it will not happen with businesses, and it will definitely not happen for personal drives unless you leave your drive being written to for years and years and then go and place it in the sun for storage. So it's even though we didn't discuss it here, it's interesting to know. So if you hear somebody saying that, you can correct them and say, no, this is for end of life situation of SSDs, not for just occasional use of SSDs, which compared to a data center usage is very occasional what we do at home.
As with a lot of things on the internet, it was picked up on and then blown out of all proportion and not
Right.
checked for facts.
Yeah. And that presentation, they're not saying that it's not true. They're just saying that they were talking about end of life, not on normal usage. So somebody took it and
rolled with it.
yeah, exactly.
Happens too often nowadays. You get the hint of a story, don't bother checking it to make
Right.
sure it's factual or true or complete, and
Yeah.
then go with it and scare the bejesus out of everybody.
And who's got the BlackBerry? Do we know anybody that has a BlackBerry?
Not me.
Well, apparently Microsoft is just one of many companies reportedly looking to get a bigger piece of the enterprise mobile market by buying BlackBerry. Obama! Reports claim that Chinese firms, including Huawei, Lenovo, and Xiaomi, are all interested in picking up BlackBerry following the company's recent return to profitability. This report comes to on the heels of BlackBerry announcing it is cutting jobs across its global business units in an attempt to consolidate its software, hardware, and application business. So we don't hear much about BlackBerry, but apparently there are things happening out there. And now Microsoft wants to pick it up. Maybe it's got more market share than Windows Phone, huh? Huh?
It used to be extremely popular, but it's certainly dropped off, isn't it?
What else?
I'm building a studio.
You've been doing it now for a few weeks, right?
No, I've been putting the equipment together. It only took me one day to build it. But I have a question. Maybe you guys can help me figure something out here.
Go ahead.
The studio has 2 POTS lines.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't know what that means a standard tip and ring like a home phone. And maybe Gary can elaborate on why this happened. But the tech company that installed the phone lines put line 1 on an RJ45 jack and put line 2 on an RJ45 jack.
Okay.
So my question is, why would they put it on an RJ45 jack instead of an RJ11? It's these standard modular jacks in a commercial environment where they have the little inserts that go into the faceplates.
Yeah.
They would either grab a data, something 68A or 68B jack, or they would actually grab the standard 4-wire telephone jack or 6-wire. And they put it on RJ45s.
Did you open the faceplate? Did you take it off?
I haven't done it yet. By the time I got to the end of the day, I had everything working except the processor and the digital hybrid. I mean, they were working and connected to the board, but I
I'll
didn't have the telephone lines connected to the hybrid, and I did not have the audio fed through the program processor.
I'll bet you that both lines are connected on both outlets. But if you
I mean, I plugged a phone in, and no, it does not show up on line 1, line 2 on one outlet.
is it a no? Oh, so if you plug it in, no, the way that it's supposed to be done is the middle two, the center two. So it will be number. There's 8.
No, I mean, I understand all that.
So it'll be
I totally
number.
understand it. But the question is, why did they put it on an RJ45?
Well, I would say that they do it just to standardize, and they do everything on RJ45.
You can plug an RJ11 plug into an RJ45 jack,
Right.
but it is not recommended. I don't care what anybody tells you. And if you don't believe it, go take an RJ11 plug it into an RJ45 jack, and watch how the thing will wobble side
Right.
to side.
It will wobble. That's correct. But
And
I
that's
would,
not
most people today will use an RJ45 for everything. I mean, I use RJ45s for all the phones here.
oh,
I don't know that I actually have a crimping tool for RJ11 anymore.
well, I do.
So you can do the same thing. I mean, there's no reason not to use an RJ45 if you're wiring and creating your own cables.
Right. If you use an RJ45 plug, I would agree
Yeah.
with you.
Right.
But not
So-
if you're going to plug an RJ11 in it. I've been told, Gary probably would know if he would respond. But
He's saying they made a mistake.
well, that's possible, but at the same time, I mean, we don't allow people to make mistakes anymore, right? You don't want your doctor making a mistake. You don't want your lawyer making a mistake. Why should they be allowed to make a mistake? That's just carelessness if it is. But the fact of the matter is, I have been told, and I'm not sure it's true, but I have been told that plugging an RJ11 plug into an RJ45 jack actually damages it. And the reason they say it damages it is because the plastic shroud on the outsides of the where the other contacts are, actually that plastic pushes too hard on the pins in the RJ45 jack and can actually cause them to lose their springiness.
I couldn't comment on that. But
Well, it's logical to me.
but I would suspect that if you take the cover off, you'll see that the two center ones are line 1 on one outlet, and the ones right next to them are line 2, and on the other outlet, the side ones are line 1 and the center ones are line 2. And this way it allows you to plug in an RJ45 for a 2-line phone, and grab both lines at the same time.
Well, anyway, I'm going to have to.
I don't know.
I'm going to rewire it.
Yeah, I know, Gary. They have provisions, but that means changing the inserts. I had the insert somewhere, but I don't think I have them anymore.
What was strange is that I knew I was going to have to go in and make some changes, and I could not find. I really had not looked for it, but I've got tons of telephone and data stuff here that I haven't used in years, and I was trying to figure out when I got home Friday. Now, where am I going to find all that stuff? It's been so long.
Well, just use the
Well,
RJ45.
I'm going to finish telling you the story, and then maybe it'll make sense. So I walked out on my back deck. I just happened to look down. There is a plastic bin, and on the plastic bin, I opened it up, and there was all my telephone stuff
Oh,
on
well,
the back deck.
yeah, but I would use RJ45s.
Well, what I'm going to do is build a converter. I'm going to come out of the RJ45 and go into and wire it into an RJ11, and then plug into the RJ11.
Why?
because that way I don't disturb anything they have. They can leave it the way they want it, and I can get what I want out of it, and everybody's happy.
Well, I mean, why you don't need to put a converter.
I come out of I take two RJ45s
Yeah.
coming out of the wall to go
Right.
into a single RJ11, which is really an RJ14 jack, telephone jack. And then I run that cord over to the 2-line system.
Okay, that's one way to do it. The way that I would do it is I will just take Cat5 cable, take one pair and crimp it on the center 2, and take another pair and crimp it on the other one center 2, plug each one into RJ45, and on the other side do whatever you want. You have two pairs, one line 1, one line 2.
Yeah, well, we definitely do things differently.
I mean, the only reason that I would not put in a converter is because that's another place where something can break down.
Don't disagree. What I'm probably going to do is go in. Since I found the stuff I was looking for, I'm probably going to go in and change the jack and do it like a normal person would do it. As long as I can get to the punch down room, which is behind lock and key.
Did anybody ask them why they put RJ45?
Nah.
Why? I mean, there may be a good reason. Maybe they know something we don't.
That's why I asked here, because if you don't know, Gary doesn't know, and I don't know, that's pretty good reason.
But
to believe
remember, we're old school. There may be a reason that these days they put RJ45. I don't know.
Well, Gary should know. I mean, Gary has to deal with this stuff every week.
Gary is also old school.
I know he's old school. He's really, really old school, but also he's listening. He must be listening on something with about a 10-minute lag because he takes forever to respond to anything.
Well, he may be on his phone.
Well, it's not that kind of a latency. What do you think of Wheatstone processors, Gary? They're junk, right?
So, AdBlock, that nice program that a lot of people are using, has successfully defended itself in court for the second time in 5 weeks. The Munich Regional Court ruled against media companies ProSieben, Sat1, and IP. Man, that echo is killing me.
All right. I think I'll just dig out of here.
No, just disable it for a second because we're ready to sign off. I just want to read that. The Munich Regional Court ruled again, and IP Deutschland. The company sued IEO, whatever I pronounce that name, the company behind AdBlock Plus, asking the court to ban the distribution of the free ad blocking software, saying it hurts their ad-based business model. IEO release said in part, "We are elated at the decision reached today by the Munich court, which is another win for every internet user. It confirms each individual's right to block annoying ads, protect their privacy, and by extension determine his or her own internet experience. This time it also confirms the legitimacy of our acceptable ads initiative as a compromise in the often contentious and rarely progressive world of online advertising." And by the way, a few weeks ago we discussed this, and you can actually pay them a fee so your ads are not blocked. Even though you use the program, if a company has ads online and they're making money from it, they can pay the people at AdBlock a fee, and they sort of like whitelist them. So their ads do come through.
That's called financial suicide to sell out like that.
Not if you do it by design.
No, but if here's the question, here's the problem. If somebody knows how to do AdBlock Plus, then somebody else knows how to do AdBlock Plus. So if they choose to sell out,
Oh, I see
then
what. Yeah.
as soon as someone else writes another program with no sellout, I'm done with AdBlock Plus
Yeah, because there'll be something that will block. Interesting.
instantly.
So you think they're committing suicide by doing this?
That's my opinion. I mean, look, if you're going, why are you using AdBlock Plus?
Right.
To get rid of
Right.
pop-ups, to get
Yeah.
rid of the barge of advertising, right?
Right.
Of advertising. Now, if it stops working, then why wouldn't you switch to another program? The reason that it stops working is irrelevant.
That's a good point. That's
Because
a good
you
point,
look
Mike.
at, for example, on Gmail. Gmail has they now send their own spam out now in Gmail. You go into the promotions tab, and over on the right hand side, they'll typically have two paid spam messages right there at the top. And I have trained myself when I click on that tab to not look at what those emails are. I just hit the 2 X's to delete them without even looking at them.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is that on certain websites, you should let the ads come through. They're not as bothersome as they used to be, because you
can't
need
pick
to
and
support. I
choose,
mean, look on YouTube. Would you rather go to a situation where you're going to have to pay every month or whatever to enjoy YouTube? No. So what do? Well, okay, so there are ads. They have to support themselves somehow.
Well, but you have to understand that Google makes a lot of money with their search engine because they have so much paid advertising there.
Correct.
So they get paid from me using it because I use Google exclusively as a search engine.
Right. Well, do you remember the days when you would go to a search engine and you would have about 3 or 4 banners on each page? Sheesh.
I never saw them. After about 3 days, I was trained not to even see them.
Right, but they were there. Now you don't
Look,
see them.
Right, as I understand it, because you become immune to them.
No, they're not there now. They're period. They're
I'll
not.
take your word for it.
I mean, you used to go to Google in the beginning, and there'll be 2 banners above the search field and 2 below it. It was ugh. Yeah, Gary, dogpile. Right.
And Dr. John says, is it different than recording TV shows and fast forwarding through commercials? You know what? I mean,
A good point.
well, it is a good point, except for one thing.
What?
It's beyond the scope of what we can talk about today, but
It's fine.
I mean, I don't think I have any moral obligation to watch anybody's commercials for any reason whatsoever. If the fact that I am not going to watch them means that you shouldn't provide the service to me for free, then stop providing it and I'll use something else. I would rather pay a monthly fee, as long as it's reasonable, for Gmail than have to sit there and watch their crap show up, their paid spam to show up. But they don't give me that option.
Yeah. I wonder if everybody feels like that. I mean,
They don't.
I don't use them, so I don't see.
No, they don't. They don't. And when I say reasonable, I'm not talking $5 a month for an email address. I'm talking about $1 a month, which is more than they make off of me from advertising.
It's having the choice is the important thing, isn't it? If people were given a choice where they could pay to have no ads, or they were fine with having ads, that's fine. Everyone is different. Some people, like you do, ignore them. Other people, it annoys the hell out of them.
No.
But if they were given a choice, then you could decide individually, which would be a good business move, I think.
There,
I mean, you're exactly right, Steve. The issue is choice. And now, granted, I've probably got 50 Gmail accounts that I either have and use or manage for other people. That's probably a mistake. It's probably time to go with one Gmail account and learn how to use filters, and then maybe I don't know whether their paid account gives you any sort of benefit, but I know you can buy more space, and I know you can get Google Apps for Business, which is $60 per month per year per email account. I have no idea if that blocks the spam. The only reason I use Gmail now, two reasons actually, because there's a lot of space there for free, and because their spam filters are without a doubt the best out there. If AOL started using Postini spam filters, I would switch to them.
Postini is a great program. Wish I could afford to buy it, and wish they were selling it.
Well, there's some discussion that Gmail is changing something, that they're only going to do Postini on their paid service.
No. Gary's saying something that makes a lot of sense. He says, remember, the selling point for cable TV was no commercials. I think it's only the paid channels that have no commercials, right?
For now.
Yeah. All right. It's that time again.
Yep, wrap her up.
Any other comments, Steve?
No, nothing from me. We've covered the stuff that I thought might be interesting.
All right.
I did list some stuff on Wake Free Cycle that I thought would be of interest to some people, such as some flat, unused, brand new 8x8x8, 8x8x4, 8x8x3, 5x5x5, 5x5x3 boxes. I've got about 200 of those. I thought it would be somebody would grab it, and apparently no one's interested. That means I guess a lot of people are throwing out stuff.
And for those of you that don't know what Mike is talking about, Wake Free Cycle, they're all over the country, correct? It's not just Wake.
Right. It's actually Raleigh, but it's a mailing list, a Yahoo mail or some sort of mailing list that if you have something you want to get rid of to keep out of a landfill, you can post it. And it's like Craigslist at no charge, in that you
Right.
post something to give away and somebody claims it, then you can give it to whomever you choose. But I believe it's wakefreecycle.org. It's really good. I mean, Nick tried it up in his area, and there's not a lot of activity on it. The one here in Raleigh is very active.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. I've got a 17-inch CRT monitor. Granted, we're running over with these, but this one it works really well, and it's very useful. If you're editing SD video, it's better to edit it on a CRT monitor than it is an LCD, because it looks like crap on an LCD monitor. I can't give it away. It's in my way. I don't use it anymore. I'm trying to get rid of it. And I'm just old school, like you're saying, Amnon. I hate the idea of taking something that works and throwing it in the dumpster.
Right. And
Or
there's
recycle it.
guy in Raleigh that would actually take it from you.
Well, if you send me his name, I'll take it to him.
Okay. Well, he'll come pick it up.
That's even gooder.
Yeah.
I've got a 19-inch one if anyone in the UK wants it and lives close.
Yeah. Well,
Close to.
him.
Taunton in Somerset.
Okay.
Stonehenge.
Well, Stonehenge miles away.
How many miles?
60.
That's not far.
It is for England.
Yeah. That's halfway across the country, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It depends on the country.
Gary, why are you bringing up Sam Garfield? Call me later, Gary. I want to ask you some questions. I'm going to be tied up for a couple of hours, but call me. Gary
right.
will call me on Skype, And I come in to get up the next morning, and I found out he's called me at 11 o'clock at night, and he called me 3 times in a row. I didn't answer the first time, so he called 2 more times, not realizing that I'm not in front of the computer at the moment.
No, Gene,
Yeah,
it's not really me that want those things. There's really a guy that came here and picked up. I had a TV that was sitting outside at the edge of the driveway for a few months under the weather and everything. I was looking for a small TV to hang under our whatever you call it outside the shelter by the pond, and he had one on a 15-inch on Craigslist, and I went and picked it up, and we were talking, and I told him I have. He said, "Oh, I'll take it." So he came that evening and picked up. All right. So I guess that would be it.
that's it.
All right. So good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drive, and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9. But you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And while you're at it, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and tune in tonight at 8 o'clock for the Tanya Love Show. Bye-bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCBVI members, The Tanya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.